Alright, welcome to Just Magic the Gathering. I was at a certain point looking to do a deck build, and this is a behind the scenes of how I was going or how I've gone about it. I wanted to build a deck around Fear of Ridicule, and I've kind of wanted to for a while. Fear of Ridicule is the card that when it's an enchantment creatures you control have menace, and whenever one or more enchantment creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, exile a random creature card from that player's library, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 1/1 enchantment creature. So I get to start to take the cards from their deck and put them into my deck. I really like, or into my battlefield. And it doesn't matter if it's a 9 casting cost. It comes on free of charge. And it's a little hit or miss, or going back to this was what I was saying initially on my Shrines deck played one of these, and it's like, not all decks have even creatures you can try this against. Either way, I was wondering, or have been looking at building a deck around Fear of Ridicule for a while. It pairs nicely with, like, the other Endurance, the Enduring Innocence. It's an enchantment creature. On my Shrine deck, I saw this played really well together. So I was looking at, like, what enchantment creatures do I have? And specifically, what glimmers do I have? Because the other Endurings, like Enduring Tenacity, is also a glimmer creature. So I kind of started with my glimmers and was thinking and even said, show me ones I don't own. What glimmer creatures? Because yeah, my golden sidekick's a glimmer. The Wingbright Thief. I saw this one played on me the other day as well. It's when this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You can choose one of them. It perpetually gains when you cast the spell. Each opponent draws a card and gains 3 life. So not only does it turn into life gain for me, it's card draw for me. And a creature for me. And it worked really well against my things with flashback. The Inquisitive Glimmer. Some of these was like, what are the ones that look actually kind of nice? And I was initially thinking building my deck with Mardu, going red, white, black. And this is a work in progress. It's a little more expensive than I can manage, and I wasn't really happy with how much card draw it had. So I was potentially looking at swapping out my red, because the other thing is the main parts of red this has is for rush or haste. So I was wondering about pulling what it would look like if I turned it from red to blue. So if I ran black, white, blue, what would that look like? And that's where I came up with my Esper's Glimmer. I swapped out my Enduring Courages for my Enduring Curiosities. And I then stripped the deck down to basically where it was affordable. Because I threw in, it's originally like 3 Enduring Curiosities. One of the things about going blue, because I really like that Wingbright Thief, I threw in 3 of the Wingbright Thiefs. And the Inquisitive Glimmer, this is really one that caught my eye. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Like my Golden Sidekick is an enchantment creature, so it would cost 1 less colorless. Or my Enduring Innocence, I can now get out for 2 white instead of 3. And same with my Fear of Ridicule. I can get it out for 2 black instead of 3. So basically everything in this deck it would play well with. And that's where I ended up taking out some of my control, because in my other one I had things like Fell. And I took out my direct kill and put in my enchantment control. So I saw the Cryo Shatter played on me effectively more than once, and I have quite a few of them. Unable to Scream, going back to I have these, and the Eaten by Piranhas I had for my other deck. They all work nicely for cheap control, and they're all enchantment. So if my Inquisitive Glimmers out, I can do an Eaten Piranhas for 1 instead of my 2. Doesn't make anything else that much cheaper. But at this point, I made everything in the deck an enchantment. So yeah, I threw in my 3 Nowhere to Runs. The Authority of Council is an enchantment. I originally had 3 of these in my other deck because I like them. It plays as a flash. It gets hexproof. One thing I was thinking about with the hexproof, something like Nowhere to Run prevents that. Even if you try to protect it with hexproof, a kill can still go through if Nowhere to Run's on the ground. Hexproof does have its limitations. Yeah, 3 of the Cryo Shatterers, 3 of the Unable to Screams, 3 of the Eden Bright Piranhas, 3 Nowhere to Runs. I went with 4 of the Inquisitive Glimmers because that's really the part of the everything in the deck is a glimmer. Threw in 3 of the Wingbright Thieves, all 3 of my golden sidekicks. So some of this I don't have to actually build out a lot. And the main thing is the fear of ridicule. That's really what this deck is built around and why all my things are enchantment creatures. And then going back to it is a little light, maybe on card draw, because I only have my Phyrexian Arena as an enchantment. And then my Enduring Curiosity. So I'm not terribly comfortable with that, yeah. I really like having the Wingbright Thieves in there. The Phyrexian Arena for the card draw, the 3 Fear of Ridicules. I cheaped out. I originally had 4, but I don't necessarily have the tokens to support that. 3 of my Enduring Innocences. And yeah, Enduring Curiosity, Enduring Tenacity. I also had a Painful Query. This has been played on me more than once where it's like, oh, it's a little expensive, but it's an enchantment. So if I have like 2 of my Inquisitive Glimmerers out, I can get this out for 3 instead of 5. I'm kind of curious to see how the mechanic works. The overall goal is to get my enchantments out cheaper. And with that being said, I threw in 2 of the Mirrored Room Fractured Realm. So for the Mirrored Room, I can, for 3, duplicate target creature I control, except it's a reflection in addition to its other types. So if I had something like the Inquisitive Glimmer, I can duplicate it, so not only does my stuff now costing me 2 less, I get to ping you for more card draw, but the other half of it is if a triggered ability triggers, it triggers an additional time. So if I had the other half unlocked, this double triggers. Basically everything in here double triggers. So I really tried to focus around Glimmers, enchantment creatures, and enter on effect. The Inquisitor's the only one that doesn't have the enter on effect. But I trigger ability, because once again, this would double trigger. Whenever I attack and hit him, then I'll exile 2 cards now. So I was pretty happy with how it shaped up. I don't know, as far as land, I split it equally because I have a few that need 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black. And the Sacred Courtyard I could label as Glimmer, that's the intention. But I have quite a few cards that aren't Glimmers. All of my enchantments, basically my control, because there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 of my cards are not Glimmers. So the Secluded Courtyard has its limited ability. I threw in a couple Terramorphic Expanses and my matching Scries, and I had 1 of the Verges, and then just basically balanced out the lands. So, with that being said, it is within reach because it's 5 uncommons, 2 rares, and 2 mythics, which will basically strap me. 5 uncommons, 2 rares, and 3 mythics. But what, in a way, started part of this is I was looking at if I wanted to do basically one more set. If I get 2 more wins, I'm going to get another pack, finish off basically both of these, which is going to give me another 1,000 coins. So then I'll have 3,000 coins, which will, with those 3 packs, I can buy 3 packs and get a full another ring and a rare token and have another uncommon. So that's kind of what started it. Is I was looking at like, I wouldn't mind finishing out my dailies, but I guess I was just looking for something new to play. I don't know. The fear of ridicule has been on my mind for a minute. Or there's a lot of decks that I'd like to try, and yeah. So with that being said, I think I'm going to exchange for it and see how it does. It's my Esper deck. I just said craft all. Now if I go into decks, Esper Glimmers. I actually had to look up what white, blue, black is. It's more one of the more uncommon types. Or like blue, black, green is Sultai. I just didn't recognize Esper. But yeah, I am willing to give it a... Why is that back into play? Yeah. See how it holds up. I have kind of high hopes. I'm worried about its mana consistency more than anything. The overall mechanic of the deck should be solid. And I like the looks of that. I have all the colors I need. So, let's see what he's playing. Blue-black. I don't really have a lot for counter to... Do I want to know where to run? The control isn't bad, and with the Phyrexian Arena, I should be able to get card drop shortly. So at this point I am going to play the nowhere to run. I don't want him getting the card draw or basically anything off of that. Which will potentially slow me down this coming round. In a way, I would definitely want the mana. And the nowhere to run isn't going to do me much good as a -3 on a 4. I'm not sure that was the right call, but I think it was. An enchantment land. This doesn't necessarily look promising for me. He's playing an eerie deck. He's tapped out. Is he gonna return? He's playing enchant. Nice. The Fear of Infinity. I need my card draw, I think, more than anything. I was trying to figure out how to push here. Because I can't attack. He can easily overpower me. But with that being said, witness protection. I'm going to try the hexproof. There's still ways you can get around that. Could be a glimmer. I probably should have played my Terramorphic Expanse this round. I can copy my current one. Yeah. Let's see what he's up to. The Unholy Annex. He controls a demon? I guess a nightmare's a demon? If I do the Enduring Innocence, I should be able to get my Fear of Ridicule out. That'll give me a card draw. And he's gonna have to double up. Do I actually want to do the 4s? Kill the bat? I don't know. That might have been a mistake. This is an interesting deck. So that he now unlocked the other half for the demon. Knights of the Round, the Mirror Room, and the Fractured Realm. I have that in my deck. Don't necessarily, I'll take the Cryo Cutter. Just going to clone my Wingbright Thief. I have nothing that can actually push through. Cloning my card draw would be a good one. But I'm pretty sure this is his game. The Mirror Room. a certain point, I'm happy to trade it. It's my only flyer, though. No. I'll take the damage. Because I can get the... Well, he has his flyer, but I can cryo shatter it. I don't know. I'm still pretty sure this is his game. Okay. Unable to scream. We'll take his ways only flyer. I don't have enough to unlock it, do I? I do. See how this actually works. No, I don't. What else does he have? The cryo shatter. Terramorph expanse. Go for a black. Probably an authority of councils. All right. I'm assuming he's going to push. I should have maybe cloned that. Because without actually getting card draw up. I don't know. Making things in his hand much more expensive. That'll allow me to surveil. And eaten by piranhas is a good option. So, still don't have warm fuzzies. Extravagant replication. Nice. And going back to, I don't have anything that can really deal with that enchantment. I'll have to think about that for the future. Because everything's going to double. Very ridicule. I'm actually feeling much more comfortable about this. So the cryo shatter. I want any time that thing taps to be dead. Unable to scream. The eaten by piranhas. If I do something like that, now all my lifelink is going to be hitting back. Unless he can take that off the board, this is basically my game. Next, all my flyers. No, 4 attackers. And I'm going to strip the end of his cards out. That's game. Because it all doubled. I definitely didn't think this was my game. And I could still do the 3/5 flyer. There's no way he can push over me. He might have like a white ball. I don't know. What's he gonna replicate? And that's game. So, yeah, that was pretty long and drawn out. But I'll take it as a win. Or an interesting mechanic. I played almost a mirror deck of my own. Yeah, that got me my pass, that got me all but one of my blue-green spells. Either way, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to call that good for the showcase. But with that, I look forward to playing some Magic in the future.